Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm Debbie. And together,
We are the Round Table Recap. Hey, welcome back. We are on Destination X, Season 1, Episode 8. And I kind of liked this episode because it's a little bit different than the other episodes that have been previously aired. This one is different because they don't have a map room and they really don't have goggles at all in this
right,
one. They're seen kind of like on a mini vacation. They're still in Venice.
right. Yeah, it's a little bit of a break. I mean, they're still playing the game, but it's a bit of a break from the game that they've been playing in the past episodes. This was different because they actually got to enjoy the city of Venice.
Yeah.
They didn't have to
And
be on the bus the whole time.
no, if anything, they were just on boats a lot or gondolas a lot of this episode.
hmm
I have where they are, like we said, on the boats and then they go sit outside. And this is where Jeffrey comes up in his gondola and says that there's no map room
hmm
and to stay vigilant was
Right,
what I
yeah.
wrote down. See, I'm trying to write down the
Yeah.
little things that he says.
I know. I wasn't sure where this episode was going, so I'm like, do I write down what he says? Is he giving clues?
Yeah.
So this one I wasn't sure. But I thought it was interesting when they broke them into the water taxis and then also on the gondolas. It was funny that Allie and Shane were always
hmm
on a boat together, and then the three guys, Rick, Peter, and Biggie, were on the other. It's just
Yeah.
weird the way that they split it up. I don't know if the show split them up or if they chose to split up that way.
I mean, I assumed that they got to choose, and even though Biggie is part of their alliance, he didn't want to be the third wheel with Shane and
Yeah.
Allie. So I assumed it was up to them, like who would go on what boat.
Okay.
But yeah, so they kind of go into, I guess would be their first mission where
hmm
everyone, oh, well, again, they split up on these boats. So it was Shane and Allie, and then it was Rick, Peter, and Biggie on the other one.
hmm
And
Right.
they all get a dagger. And what they have to do is memorize on this boat ride 10 masked what
Figures.
people figures, yes,
Yeah. Yeah, they
as
call
they're
them
going through.
figures. Yeah.
Okay. And I had a laugh at Rick because as we know from previous
Oh.
episode, he loves his stories to how to memorize things. So he was giving
I
them
know.
each a name and then
Yeah. I was having flashbacks to the chateau in Switzerland when he
mhm,
was coming up with the story with the bells. I was having flashbacks to that.
yeah. Yeah, and wasn't it Kim that's just like just no, let's just
Yes.
memorize it. Like no, we're not doing a story.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of
Yeah.
too. And then yeah, Shade and Allie were the only ones that had missed one of the figures. And they realized this when they obviously get down to the last one because they're like, we only
Mhm.
counted 9.
Yeah.
So then
But they were actually working together on
yes.
the whereas I think the other 3, they were just trying to memorize on their own. They weren't trying to work. They weren't
Yeah,
working as a
no.
team, whereas,
No.
Shane and Allie were.
Yeah, that was the difference between the 2 boats for sure.
Mhm,
So when the ride was over, they had to pick from, I think there was 20 figures, which of the ones they saw. And so I kind of liked how they did this because they went in order of how they were lined up.
mhm.
Like the first person would pick one and then they would move down the line. So essentially everyone got to pick 2. Biggie though was very upset that Shane took his number 14 because
Yeah.
for the
Yeah,
second
I
round.
I liked how they did it because, I thought, "Oh, are they gonna go in the same order for the second round?" Because then that's not fair to the people on
Mhm.
the end. So I'm glad that they reversed it. So Biggie started off the first round and Rick ended the first round, and then the second round, Rick started the second round
Yeah.
and Biggie ended. Yeah, so I thought that was fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, but poor Biggie.
He's like, "Well, I wanted number 14." I don't know how many times he said
You
he
know?
did it. He, didn't get to choose the one he wanted to pick. But surprisingly enough, they all picked
Mhm.
correctly. So
Yes. Yes.
everyone got a total of 3 daggers. Then after that mission, I just have where Peter and Rick, they try to recruit Biggie. They don't divulge that they're working together, Rick and Peter. So they
Hmm.
kind of like talk it out as if, oh, this is a good idea if all three of us just come in alliance because if Biggie stays with Shane and Allie, then he's always going to be that third person out.
Hmm.
So
Right.
I thought it was a good strategic play as far as Peter and Rick to try to recruit Biggie, but
Yeah.
I didn't see it really happening because if I was
Yeah.
Biggie, I would have just stayed with my original alliance.
Right. I mean, he's been with Shane since
Day
the
one.
first day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's hard to break. I mean, and Shane has done nothing to show Biggie that he can't be trusted. So
Hmm.
that would be, I mean, I get the sense that Biggie has got a good moral compass,
Yeah.
and so he wouldn't backstab somebody. Yeah, so I thought that was going to be a hard sell to try to recruit Biggie.
Yeah. And I mean, Shaden's proved to Biggie that he'll pick Biggie over Allie because he's done
Hmm.
it.
Right.
He's done it before. So,
Yes.
yeah. So that's really all I have until they go into like their second mission, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, part two of the
The daggers. Yeah.
right.
They walk into, I don't know, it looks like a lobby, but whatever.
Hmm.
They're at a table. There's five skulls and each one has, the players' names on them and what they have to do is place their daggers on whoever's skull. The people with the most ones then go into the final round to be sent home. And
Right.
so this is
Yeah,
like the
the
only time they have goggles per se.
right. Yeah,
Y-
they're masked with the blindfolds, yeah.
Yeah.
The three that have the most daggers are the three that are condemned, and then they go to that final challenge. So
Yes.
from this, two will be safe.
Yep, exactly. And so Jeffrey, he taps a player on their shoulder, and that's how they know to take off their mask and put their daggers.
Hmm.
So Allie picks to do two of her daggers for Rick and one on Peter.
Hmm.
Peter does one Allie and two on Biggie. Rick does one on Allie, two on Shane.
Hmm.
And then Biggie has, which was the most surprising for me because Biggie did
Hmm.
one on Peter, one on Shane, and one on Allie. And I really thought
Right.
like he was gonna at least do like I can understand Peter and Allie, but I thought he would have given the one to Rick.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
And then Shane goes, and what I thought was interesting is that because they don't have time to talk to anybody before this starts. So they're
Right.
given like, this is what's going to happen. And then they go into it. So, but
Hmm.
Shane actually chooses the exact same thing that Allie does. So he does one on
Yes.
Peter and two on Rick, which I
Yeah.
thought was interesting because, yeah, what are the odds?
Yeah, in my head, because Rick is such a strong player, I was thinking, yes, this is the time to get Rick out.
Yeah.
If they're going to make a move, this is the time when people should have put daggers on Rick. I mean, I know three are going to end up battling that last challenge, but I thought it was a good strategy to try to get Rick out.
Yeah.
So,
Because
so
I think at this point, he is the strongest person in the game.
yeah, but the only ones that went for Rick were Allie and Shane. But I thought that was a good strategy.
Hmm. I know. I obviously understand why Peter didn't go for Rick, but
Hmm.
again, Biggie kind of surprised me. I know he
Yes.
helped Rick out in the last episode, so I feel like
Right.
they have like kind of this friendship thing. So I was thinking maybe that's why he didn't go for Rick, but I didn't
You
really,
know,
I didn't understand it.
his bond with Shane is stronger. And the
I
weird
know.
thing is nobody picked Biggie. So I think nobody sees Biggie as a threat. It's what
Yeah,
I'm getting from that.
yeah.
But
I
then
don't think so.
Biggie was happy. He was actually happy he didn't get any. And I'm like thinking, yeah, that's not really a good thing if you didn't get at least one dagger.
Yeah,
Or no,
yeah.
wait. No, I'm sorry.
Well,
Peter
Peter
gave two to,
puts 2,
yeah.
yeah. But
Okay.
he was
So,
happy that he got the least amount until Jeffrey gives him the twist of because there's a tie between Shane, Allie, and Peter because we already know Rick is going into the final mission. So
right.
he has to save one of those players
And then he makes, that comment about, well, it's one thing to do it secretly, but then to do it,
in front of their face.
in front of everybody. But I'm thinking, okay, if you didn't give one to each one of them,
I know.
I mean, you were the deciding factor in that. It was because of you that there's a tie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so,
thought the same thing. I'm like, well, if you didn't give the one to Shane and you gave it to
right,
Rick even, like
right.
there'd be no tiebreaker. The
No, that was,
ironicness in it.
so he has to save one of the people he gave a dagger to.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of liked that. It was funny
Yeah,
how it all played out.
yeah.
But I wasn't surprised. He picked Shane to save. He stuck with his alliance buddy. And so Allie, Peter, and Rick go into the Garden of Lost Souls, which is the final challenge. And there's another table with tarot cards out in
Hmm.
front of them, and each of the cards have a clue of a landmark or place in Europe. And basically, they have to go one by one again to pick which of the places is the closest to Venice.
Yeah,
And
based
then
on the
if,
clue, they try
yes,
to determine what the city is.
yeah. Once they turn it over, they either get a heart saying that they're good, or once you get the skull, you're out. I liked the fact that they started off like Jeffrey had the tarot cards with each of their names on it, and so he just, picked one at random. So it was
Hmm.
Allie, but then from Allie and going forward, each player got to choose who was the next person to draw the card or pick a card.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
there should have been some strategy behind that. I didn't see Peter's strategy until the very end. I mean, Rick had a strategy and Allie had a strategy, and I think Peter was just going. I mean, because if he and Rick are in an alliance, why wouldn't they just keep picking Allie?
That's what I thought.
You know,
I thought both of
yeah,
them were, because at this point, one of them's going to go home, so
right,
both should be gunning for the same person.
right.
So,
But
yeah,
he kept picking Rick, and I'm like thinking that's not a strategy. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Until, like you said, the very last one, which then I was like, okay, good. He thought this one through because
right,
they were
yeah,
down to two cards.
yeah,
And so he put his trust into Rick of knowing the last one. And
yeah.
that way he could force Allie to choose the skull card.
Yeah, I did like at the end where he did think about, wait a minute,
Hmm.
there's a 50-50 chance. If he picks Allie and she guesses right, then Rick goes home.
Yeah.
But then Allie's whole comment about, because Peter divulged about the secret alliance between him and Rick before he picked the
Yeah.
final person. But then Allie's like saying, try to get Rick out. And I'm like thinking, why would he do that? Because all throughout, ever since he's been on the bus, ever since he's been in the game, it's been known that Allie and everybody in that alliance has been after Peter and Janae. You know, not once did they approach Peter about going into an alliance and going after Rick. I'm like thinking, she comes down on Peter,
Yeah. If he's smart, then he'll get rid of Rick.
but at the same time, he's had nobody approach him for an alliance. Even when he went to Biggie, obviously, he saved Shane instead of
Right.
Peter. So, I mean, Peter has no other option. I mean, he's not going to play a solo game. In a perfect world, yes, he would get Rick out. However, he has no other alliance member.
Yeah.
So,
Think she just thought they were both playing solo games. So that's the only thing that would make sense to me,
mm.
is that she thinks they're both playing solo games and Rick is the strongest out of the two. So it would be more to Peter's advantage.
But if she thought they were both playing a solo game, then it would be to Peter's advantage to get out to break up
Right.
an
Yeah,
alliance.
yeah,
Everybody should have come together and gotten Rick out because I think Rick's going to win the game. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So with all that being said, Allie goes home, and then Rick and Peter are shown a card that's a
Hmm.
clue. It's like different pictures on it, which I know they're not going to share, because now ultimately
Right,
it's two versus two. You have
right.
Rick and Peter against Biggie and Shane. And yeah, Rick and
Yeah.
Peter are
Gee,
the
I wonder what.
stronger
Yeah, who's the
alliance.
stronger? Because I
Yeah.
mean, Allie is giving Rick some competition there, but now with Allie
Hmm.
gone, I see Rick winning the game. What do you think?
I think in order, I would do Rick, Peter, Biggie, and Shane.
Yeah,
I mean, and it all
I would.
depends on what competitions are left in the next two episodes, but that's what I would place my bets on.
Yeah, at the end, at the very end, there was a comment that Rick had made about keeping his and Peter's alliance secret. But then they had that secret meeting with Biggie. So I'm like, well,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if their alliance is really secret anymore.
I don't think Biggie's going to keep that a secret from Shane that he tried to get
No.
recruited and that they're essentially
Yeah.
working together. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
over. I don't think their
Yeah.
alliance is a
See,
secret anymore.
but yet Rick made that comment at the end about keeping his alliance with Peter secret. And I'm like thinking, no, it's not secret.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the next and the final two episodes play out with the top four contestants.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll
Yes.
see you guys on the next episode.
Yay.